Welcome everyone to the Freddie and Alyssa show. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, all that fun YouTube stuff. If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to like and follow. And if you're listening on a platform like iTunes and you want to leave a 5-star review, if you think we deserve it, that would be amazing. We've been putting out content now for a little over 3 years. We're having a blast, and we appreciate you all so much for coming along this journey with us. So thank you for being here. We've got a very fun episode today.
Yes, we do.
So we're going to hop into that. We're going to do a Q&A, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And I know you have the questions. We thought this would be a really fun episode. So I'm really excited to hop into to those questions. And we're always looking for ways for the audience to get to know us on a deeper level. And you and I will forget because we know each other so well. We've had the discussions, and there's times that we forget. So some of these quizzes or these tests allow us to open up with each other and also share stories with all of you because it triggers things. We're like, oh yeah, we should talk about that. And I also want to take a second to shout out our sponsor. Now, should I sing? Let me do it. Faraday, why don't you come on over, Faraday? You know, we did hear from the brand, and they didn't say anything about my singing, so I'm going to keep the singing in there because it's just catchy. But yeah, thank you, Faraday, for sponsoring the podcast. We are obsessed with your brand, high-quality clothing, men and women. You can go to faradaybrand.com/Freddie Alyssa and use Freddie Alyssa at checkout for 25% off. But check out their women's line, their men's line, just high-quality, amazing, and not only do they have men's and women's wear, they have blankets.
Blankets!
And they are really cool.
They are so cool, high quality, cozy, perfect, because it's so chilly right now. And I know everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, it's not cold by you. It's cold, and these blankets are perfect.
Yeah, so they have a lot of cool designs, and you can check those out. But we just really appreciate them. What a great, solid company, and we always appreciate partnering with really good brands. So if you're looking for some men's wear, women's wear, some blankets, some accessories, go to faradaybrand.com/Freddie Alyssa and use code Freddie Alyssa for 25% off at checkout. So thank you, Faraday. We appreciate you very much. And now, babe, I want to hop into this Q&A.
Oh, yeah.
And you haven't read all the questions, or you have?
No, so I did a very quick, brief skim, and I just wanted to double check and make sure that the questions were good. But I also just wanted to make sure that I didn't read all of them, because sometimes if I read all of them, I don't think it's fair if I'm going to answer and I know all the questions, so I did a brief skim, and it's cool because they have fun questions to ask on a date, questions about media and culture, personality, and fun facts. So let's kind of start and see where the wind blows us.
Let's see, yeah. I love it.
So our very first Q&A is Mr. and Mrs. Smith, hubby and wife. Let's kick it off with, if you had one day left to live, what would you do?
Oh my goodness. One day left to live.
Yeah.
Well, I think in this particular situation, if I woke up at 8 a.m. tomorrow and I got a message that goes, you have 24 hours left, I would go to the airport and fly to Ohio. We would probably have your parents drive from New Jersey, so we would get the entire family together.
Yep.
And we would order every kind of food known to mankind. We would get a bunch of booze, and we would party our faces off with those that we love, friends, family, and just spend it in the freezing cold Ohio. But I'm with everyone I love with a full belly and a buzz, so I am good to go.
I love that. I feel mine would be similar, except I would say to everyone, hey, everyone I love, all my family, friends, you're all coming here. Everyone get to Orlando, and everyone would come to this beautiful, amazing place called Disney World. And we would all go, and we would drink around the world in Epcot. And then I would go to Magic Kingdom. And I guess they have this secret suite up in the actual castle in the actual Magic Kingdom where you can stay overnight, but they only give it to really special, or I would assume well-off individuals who can pay to stay in the park overnight. Huh. So they'll do from time to time these really big giveaways, and families can win time to stay in the suite. So you're staying in the actual castle. And I would go to them, hey, this is my one wish. Can I stay? And I'd have everyone stay in that really cool suite, and lots of food, Lots of drinks.
Well, it's interesting when you break it down to if you just had one day left, it shows you what's important. But then you think, well, you should live every day like it's your last, but yet you don't spend time doing that stuff because you can't.
Right.
Like you can't eat and drink every day. You can't just travel, or you can't just get all your friends and family together. Like everyone has their life.
Sure.
So it's kind of interesting how we all have our own lives, and you kind of put off what everyone would choose as their last day. And we don't do it enough.
But I mean, I guess that's why too people do plan, especially families, vacations together in times when everyone can just unwind and be together. Because I think one of our biggest issues when we used to travel home for the holidays was that when we were going to their territory, everyone there was still like working. When people would come to LA, we're still working. So when you meet up in a different secluded place where you both are coming
And not working.
that everyone can truly just enjoy and have fun.
Well, everyone's living out of their suitcase. It's different. If you come into our hood, it's like, oh, we've got laundry, we have to go grocery shopping, we have this bill that needs to be paid. It's like, no, for 10 days, we're all going to live out of a suitcase in an area we've never been before and just go explore together.
Yep. So it's cool, but I just think it'd be really nice to get everyone together again, eventually, soon. You know
Eventually,
what I mean?
yeah.
All right. That was a fun start, wouldn't you say? Number 2. Okay. What phone apps are you obsessed with?
My phone apps, my favorite phone apps, I've got Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Cameo. Shout out Cameo if you want a shout out video. Look us up on Cameo. Twitter. Then I have my YouTube Studio, which is all the back office from like the analytics of our YouTube page. Then we've got Facebook ads, the app. This is all on my homepage, by the way. So the Facebook ads are ads that we run to attract a bigger audience. And then TikTok, which I've been spending so much time on. Then we've got our community app, which is the app where we have our phone number. If you want to shoot us a text, we'll put that up there. Then I got my news app, my weather app, my 2 banking apps, my 2 emails, notes, my pedometer, where I do my 10,000 steps. And then I've got Lose It, which I'm keeping track of calories. And then Cluster, which is because my cousin doesn't use Instagram really to post my nieces. So I go to Cluster to see all of that stuff because it's private with family. And that's my home screen. And that just at the very top is the calendar, photos, camera, and calculator because those are my favorites.
I always thought it would be a lot of fun for us to sit and go through in a video, like maybe for YouTube, and show our actual phones and what we do and break it down. Because I feel like on my phone, I'm crazy with organization and I have all these different folders for, you know, like my fashion stuff and for my editing and entertainment and lifestyle, meditation, delivery. I mean, it's great for business. It goes on and on and on. But I really do love, of course, all of the main social media ones, but I also love checking my my daily horoscope every day on Astrology Zone. Very important. And Time Hop is a really fun app because it will show you what you were doing, 5 years ago today. So it kind of shows you, ooh, look how far I've come, or oh, I remember when I did that, and it just kind of brings in a different energy, and it's a lot of fun. I love that. And then all of my editing apps, which, oh my God, there's so many. They're the best. I literally have an app called Retouch, and if you have a photo that you want something out the back, you just put your finger over it and click Retouch, and it removes it.
How does it know how to put the background? It must just blur what's next to it into like a sandwich that gets rid of it?
Yeah, because this one's really good. There obviously are actual programs you can use on your laptop or desktop to be able to do that, but it takes a little bit more time. This is so easy. Just put your phone or your finger on and it's gone.
Well, because most of the time when you look at your Instagram, a lot of the times we're lucky and we'll be able to shoot with no one in the background. But there's something about the illusion that you're alone that makes for a better picture. Like having people in the background walking takes away from whatever that Instagram aesthetic is.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny you bring that up. When we were in DC for that event, we took some pictures in front of the hotel, but there were so many people behind us. And I ended up using this and I was able to crop people out.
Was it the couple that was talking to us?
No, that was in New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And you were so upset that I kept turning around.
Well, there's times that I get really concerned because I've never been, like I've directed like a couple things that we've done, but I get into this mode when there's something I know I want and it's a 1 in a million thing. Like we'll be sitting there and I'm trying all these different shots. I'm like, this sucks. It's average. It's normal. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, this is the shot. And if someone's in my way or someone like the wind's blowing your hair the perfect way, I just get like emotional. And I'm like that director that people talk about, but I bet you that's how people are on set. Like you have to learn patience. Because there's times that we were at another hotel and I remember this guy, you know, I think I've told this story before where you were sitting there and like he was looking at the menu and I'm like, you clearly see I'm taking a photo. Like just move.
Just move.
And I was literally like, excuse me. I was like, can you move? And like, I didn't mean to be rude, but I was so blown away. It was like when someone comes to the stall next to you or the treadmill next to you, I'm like, unless he was in his own world. But I wasn't rude. I was just like, hey, do you mind moving? Which is rude in itself, but I was polite by asking.
But unless you're on the other end of the camera and have experience, you don't truly understand like getting that shot. Even when we were shooting after our wedding, there was this amazing wind that was taking place and it was getting my veil just so, and our photographer was just like, oh my gosh, stay right there, let me make sure I got it. And she goes, got it. And we all understood. We knew. We're like, we need this shot. The wind's only going at this certain time in the world to make it just that perfect shot. And she got it.
Yeah, because you want to try to evoke some sort of emotion with the photo.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that goes into that, but it's I guess when it's your work, it's kind of like the feeling you get when I was a server and it's 9:58 and a table of 7 comes in. You're like, we were going to close in 2 minutes. Like everything's clean.
Like,
or if you're just trying to get something done or it's something, it's like we're paid to do this and that you just have to put in more time. But there's certain moments with certain light and certain wind and certain accidents that you go, there's only one moment to get this and the moment will pass. And then you have a subpar product. So you know when you put it out, you're like, that wasn't as good as I knew it could have been. Then you feel like a failure. So I'm very adamant when we go and take our shots. I'm like,
well, and there's so much that goes into it, because not only on the director's side of getting the lighting and, just the perfect shot, but on my end too, I'm thinking about all of that. But then I'm like, okay, now I need to make sure I have the right expression on my face, that my body's posed in the correct way. Like all these little things go into it. And so for me, when I go through it, I know you always get so irritated. You're like, babe, you're going through all those pictures, but I need all those pictures because I know what I'm looking for when I pick photos, and everything else can look great. But if the product or whatever it might be just doesn't look as good, I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into getting a picture you don't realize.
Yeah. And the way that we do it, there's only one other person who I've ever taken photos with. Oh man, they were badass photos too. I was just new on the scene in 90210. And I went out with this guy and he was just rogue. Like I've never, because most photo shoots, our wedding, she was rogue.
Yeah.
But most photo shoots I have, there's like, I don't even know what you call them, but there's like someone holding like a white balance or something, and there's like all this checking and all this this stuff and pose and moments, and this other guy just took a camera and went out with me, and we just took pictures in moments, and that's how we shoot. Where I don't have any training on a camera. Everything's auto, but I rely on the moment to be captured. Because if it's the most professional $8,000 camera with a $700 an hour person, and it's the perfect shot, but the emotion's not there, the background's not there, and the emotion's not there, aesthetically it's perfect, but it's missing the soul.
Yep.
I feel we know how to capture the soul, and then filters and apps can fix because we take amazing photos, and it's a stock camera, and I have no idea what shutter is or balance or color. Like I know nothing but the stock photo, and we rely solely on capturing moments at certain angles, and then rely on that. So I don't know why I've never put in the time like these professionals, because they take great shots.
Yep.
But we kind of just do this rogue thing like that guy did with me back in the day, and it was some of my favorite pictures I ever got.
But that's with you too. You love those actual real moments. Like when we're shooting, you'll do certain things or whatever it is that we're doing, we try and capture that.
Those are things that we learned over time, but we started really taking it serious in Mexico. in Playa del Carmen.
Yeah, that
on
was
that wedding trip we went on.
February of 2018. Wow, that's 3 years
Almost
ago.
3 years ago, where we really started
That was
enjoying the art of it, where it wasn't just go take a picture. We were like, wait a minute, your dress is blowing in the wind, or go sit next to these bikes, or we just kind of figured it out.
Yep.
Because we watched people on Instagram and go, this looks cool, and then we tried to
And
mimic
what's
it.
crazy is I had gotten my first brand deal back then, and it was with Johnny Walker, and we're like, how cool that we can go to Mexico and shoot on the beach. Now, this was our first time doing a brand deal, so we weren't looking at all the little specs and requirements. And remember, we bought those small shooters, the Johnny Walker, and we took these badass cool photos, and then I sent them in. They go, no, they want the 750 milliliter bottle as it says in the instructions.
So all the photos that we took in Mexico to promote their brand, it was the wrong size bottle.
Yes, remember that?
So we had to just take normal ones back at our apartment in Pasadena.
Yep, but I think we even dressed the bedroom for, it was Valentine's Day, and remember we had the chocolates, we were on the bed with the balloons and the Johnny Walker, so they turned out really cute, but all those pictures, we couldn't use any of them. But now we know.
You have to read the fine detail, yeah.
Practice makes perfect. Now we know.
That was a really big brand, and I get it, but there's still brands that we work with that are so specific that I'm just like, there's no need.
No.
Like, they're very, very adamant about use this hashtag. It's got to be like this. It's got to be like this. I was like, most people, it's all brand awareness. Mm-hmm. People are going to flick through your Instagram stories. Some are going to click. Most are just going to see the brand and go, ooh, Burger King. And they might go to Burger King in 3 weeks because they saw it.
Sure.
But to have it's this hashtag, and it's got to be this whole thing. It's just like, give the creators the control, considering this is what we do.
Yeah.
And we'll incorporate your brand the way we think our audience would accept it the best.
Yep.
And if people buy it, they do. If not, it's free brand awareness.
Yep. And also, too, for the creators, we know what our audience is going to like and what's going to feel good and how to reach them in an organic matter. Yeah. They don't really know that. And I understand, too, following along with hashtags, that they're building a campaign around it. But some are really strict. And it's just like, let the creator do their thing and get the message across. So, but that was a fun learning experience.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a cool world. It's definitely a cool world. And yet again, it's like, once everything opens back up, it's like, it's going to be nice to like go do things and grab amazing shots.
I know. And we can still do that, but it's different now because I'm even going, there's this place called Wall Crawl here. And it's all these different sets that you can go shoot at. And it's so crazy. Funny enough, we partnered up with the makeup artist and the photographer from our wedding because we all hit it off so well. So we're all going to do a collab. And we're going to go there. But I was reading all the fine print for this place. And you have to set it up by appointment. So we're going from like, say, 1 to 2 p.m. But they wanted to make sure that when you're there, you have your mask on. And then whoever is being shot, they can take it down at the first set, get their pictures, put it back on, go to the next set, take it. You know, there's so much that goes into it now because of the masks. It's an added stress.
What are some of the backgrounds?
Well, they're all different. So they're just different sets. They have some really cool, there's kind of like this movie theater one and then like this candy one. They're just really cool and girly and fun and bold. And I was just like, how fun to make some different looks and shoot.
So you essentially will put on an outfit. You'll go sit in a fake bathtub with a beautifully set thing that's as big as like a closet. And then you'll take a picture, be able to post it on Instagram, move to the next set, which is like a movie theater. And it's like Candyland. And then it's, so you can take all these pictures, get a few looks, and then space them out on your Instagram. Yeah.
And I always thought it would be cool to go do that. But, you know, a lot of these shots that we do, like ourselves, I just do a little makeup. Like, I'm not the greatest at makeup. I mean, I can put on some eyeliner and eyelashes, but like, I mean the like smoky eye and the eyeshadow and the contour. I don't know how to do all that. But this makeup artist does. So it'll be fun to do actual, you know, real photos that are lifestyle and fun, but actually done up.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what's really neat too is being able to find people. And we had a gentleman, Hector, who was amazing photographer in LA that we're always going to remember, because one day there's going to be something big that happens, and he's going to be one of the people on the team that we reach out to see if he wants the job, because he was so gracious with his time. Is finding, and I always tell inspiring actors this: if you're living in a small town, build an Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, but ask around who does lighting, who does audio, who does directing, who has the camera equipment, who are the actors, who are the writers, and you should all work for free to put something out and tag your name. So people go, who directed this? Who did the makeup? Who did the hair? Who's this actor? Who's this writer? And you all help each other. So you are the talent in this that's working for free. The photographer, Victoria, is working for free. And Liz, the makeup artist, is working for free. But you three collabing, and when your photo comes out on Instagram, people are going to go, when you're going to see her credit, photo by Victoria, makeup by Liz. Now they're getting exposure for free to spend an hour of their time. And now you three are all helping each other with that exposure. And that's the beautiful thing. And that's why I've always had this deep want when it comes to making films. People should work for free.
I know.
Because you're going to get the exposure that's going to give you the job. Sometimes the crew, not so much, but if everyone worked for free, you could put something out. Because it's not about making money up top. It's about making a name for yourself so that people with money will hire you next.
Yes. Well, and it was really cool too, because on the photographer as well as makeup artist, and they get to use these photos for, lookbooks for their Instagram to continue to promote their business. But I love too that they're both so down for, both of the ladies, for like TikToks. Like, they're just wonderful, and they get it. They understand, like, hey, this is the new way of the world. Like, we got to feed the machine with content, and we all are partnering up. So I'm just really stoked. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll get some really cool shots.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. We'll do a little behind the scenes.
Well, are you ready for your next question, sir?
Yes.
So the next question is, where was our first date?
Well, our first, pick you up, open your door, bring you to a fancy restaurant, I'm actually not sure. The first thing that came to mind was there was just a day that I came over to your apartment and we climbed up on the roof. And that's what I was talking about in our vows.
Yeah.
Where we were just looking up at the clouds on the roof. I think we were drinking.
We were.
And climbing up on the roof.
We were drinking Smirnoff vodka.
Yeah.
Raspberry.
And just being like, what did you... Oh, there's a dog, there's a dolphin, and whatever. And then there was this bar... not Buffalo Wild Wings. Big Wangs.
Big Wangs.
Big Wangs.
Oh, I loved Big Wangs.
That is so good. Yeah, anyone who's in NoHo or anywhere in Hollywood, maybe Big Wangs is somewhere else too, but it's like a bar. Like a bar, beer. And we walked from your apartment, buzzed, and I was giving you a piggyback ride, and this is before we got together or anything.
Yeah.
And why didn't you have your ID? Like, you had lost it or misplaced it, so you didn't have your ID, but we were 20...
We were
22, 23?
Yeah.
So I had mine on me, but the bouncer was like, if you don't have an ID, you can't go in. And we're like, she's 22. Like, we're good. Here's my ID. And he goes, all right, I'll let you in. He's like, but I'm going to sit here where I can watch you, but she can't drink. And I said, all right, that's fair. So we were sitting there, we were eating. I had this tall beer, and then I snuck you the beer, and you sipped it, and he walks over and goes, really? Really? And he kicks us out of the bar.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So here we were. He was letting us in. And
Just complete hoodlums.
kids. Oh my gosh. And so we ended up going home that night. One of our friends had a huge house party at the Northridge house.
Was that the same night?
That Nate drove us home?
Yes.
He was dressed up. What was he dressed up as?
Well, before we get there, so whatever, that was probably around 6 or 7. And then we hung out, we got ready. And back in our early 20s during our Hollywood party years, we would, the party didn't start till 11, 12 o'clock.
Crazy.
So we would almost there was even times that you would take a nap from 6 to 8, wake up. From 8 to 11, everyone would be at your place. We would all pregame.
Yeah.
And then we'd have one person who was a DD and would drive to the party. And we would go to the party, and it would be from midnight till 2, 3 in the morning. But then we had no way home because whoever dropped us off. Do you remember how we got there?
Whoever brought us, I think, left early. And I think we were like, oh, yeah, well, we'll make sure that we get a ride home. Worst case scenario, take a cab. And our good friend, Nate.
He was wearing a one-piece nude suit that had a flower over his junk, but it was the outfit, like not a real flower. But he was just in a. Why was he wearing that?
And this was in May. It wasn't like it was October and it was a Halloween party.
He just wore it.
He was just driving us home, and you and I were both in the back, so it was very like cab-like. Like we weren't sitting up there with him.
No.
And he was dressed in this costume. And it was just so hysterical. Like, just so Nate. It was so much fun.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Just the, that was, I mean, that was like the first night of what started everything for us. But,
Well, and then the next morning, you brought me out to Patty's, the breakfast place we would always go to. So, I mean, I guess traditionally that could have been the first sit-down date, like a breakfast. I just remember that. And I remember, it's funny little things you remember. I remember you wearing this black pea coat. Do you remember that you used to wear that for like 2 years? You had a black pea coat.
That was the day after?
Uh-huh.
It was in May.
I don't know. You were wearing it.
Really?
Yeah. I just remember that. And I was like, he looks so cute in this.
So I stayed the night at your house?
Uh-huh.
And then we woke up and went to Patty's.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to Patty's. There was like the building that I lived in that you moved into was right between, it was, for anyone who lives in California, Toluca Lake. And it was the building was smack dab between Patty's Diner for breakfast and Bob's Big Boy. And I think you probably know Bob's Big Boy. That's been around.
Yeah.
You know, and they have these big car shows on Friday. But anytime we would Uber home or taxi home or get dropped off at home, our house would be the place because we could walk down the alley and go eat at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning at Bob's Big Boy.
Yep.
And then we would all come back, everyone would crash, and then the next morning we wake up and go to Patty's. And then we'd end up going to your place for the pool because it was like the cooler place. But I think it's a different, I just don't know how to explain young Hollywood because that was our college. And I don't know if we weren't actors in Hollywood, I have nothing to compare what it would be like of meeting people, dating people, taking them out. We were just in this audition. You're working, you're not working. Your friends are gone for 4 months in Texas shooting a TV show. Then they come back, they don't work for 9 months. And so everyone like on a Wednesday would be like, you want to go to Vegas? I got no auditions. And it's just this weird... So there's no traditional, like, I just got done with work, you got done with work, I'm going to go pick you up at the apartment that you own. It's just a bunch of actor kids, just Hollywood rats running around, partying, no alarm clock, and the only thing that matters is those 2 auditions a week, and then people got their shit together when they worked on a show.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I got 90210, everyone partied that night.
And you went
I was
home.
like, I had my first, so you're like, I can't stay out. So I remember going out till like 11 p.m. that night. And everyone else stayed out till 2 or 3.
Well,
yeah.
At least you went home though.
Yeah. I was really, really good at that. But yeah, that's all we did. It was a really cool time in your life. It's just a bunch of friends with huge ambitions. And you're all just like working out and you're drinking and going to the beach and parties and clubs and meeting other people and then you have to grow up at some point.
But I do think too, another reason it was so special was the fact there was no social media back then. Everyone truly was living in the moment. If you were going to a party, it was about seeing your friends. You know, who was there that you could sit and talk to and you're excited to see. I mean, I can only imagine what parties are like for young kids these days.
Well,
Maybe
the hype ones, not the hype house, but I mean like it's got to be like the people who had the popularity was the owners of the house.
Yeah.
Like Twompson
Yeah.
was the guy with 1 million
Twommy.
followers.
Do you remember?
If he would have really had a social media because he had the clout that it was his house and celebrities would go to his house.
Yeah.
And miles.
Yeah.
Like they were the ones that you're like, oh my God. So I can only imagine today it's the ones who are hosting the party, but it's like the clout of all these followers, which is driving all these kids insane.
Yep.
But for us, it was that normal hierarchy of who was the cool person who had a house with cool friends, and all these celebrities were showing up. And then we would go, and you would bring a date. There was nothing. It was the best feeling ever to bring a date who's not in the scene to that party.
Oh my gosh.
And you bring a date and you're just like, oh, these are my friends. And then they're walking around. They're like, everyone here knows you. Everyone here is on television and
it was a
famous.
sick house.
And they're like, wait, what? And you instantly get all that clout.
Yeah.
And it was just like this weird thing, but that's what we cared about back then, because that's the equity you had when you didn't have any money or reputation. It was just the company you kept.
Yep.
So,
do you remember too that in that house there was this like old, say it was like a potato chip machine, and he replaced it with cigarettes and joints? And he would sell them in his house at these parties.
Oh yeah, a vending machine.
A vending machine. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I guess they took everything out of it and put in their own items.
Yeah, well, that was back before it was legal too.
Really?
Yeah, you couldn't smoke weed, maybe medicinally, but you couldn't. It didn't become legal until like 16 or something in California.
Oh shoot.
Maybe even later.
They had everything. They thought of everything. And it was a really cool time, though, just to really live in the moment.
But it's weird, though, that you never, I saw someone on TikTok say this, you're never aware you're in the good old days until they're gone.
Yeah.
Because you just thought that was, and there was a lot of bad stuff that happened, and I think you forget that. I think there was just like these highs that we had during those moments that overtake just how bad times were, too. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff that went down. But it was just this pre-social media, last of its kind, final boarding to a crazy Hollywood life. And we have no pictures, no videos, nothing, which is sad, but also amazing.
Yeah.
Because we never have to worry about that garbage. God knows the garbage that would be out there from just crazy nights. But we knew every... we knew every party kid. We knew every in and out of any club, like the hottest clubs. There's no waiting in line. There was just enough people, and yet again, it was the company you kept. So back in the day, I'm sure it's the same. If you were a guy, you needed to be with like 4 girls to get in.
Yeah.
Or you had to be famous. So it was always like interesting when like a dude would show up with his 6 homies, but he's on TV. So they're like right on in.
Yep.
Or you had to be a guy with 4 girls because the ratio they wanted in the club. But we ended up becoming friends with the 2 biggest promoters in Hollywood, and we would go 3 times a week, and we would always bring girls.
Up.
So you would have like the whole crew. So it was
Oh
pretty
my
much
gosh,
it was just
yeah.
me and a few other guys, and then it was all you girls.
Which is why they always let you in. I remember before, like when I first met you, we went to, I think it was the Library. Was that the name of a club off of Hollywood Boulevard? I think it was called Library.
I don't think Library.
No, it's not what it's called. I
think
remember.
that's something in Orlando, actually.
Really?
Library, yeah.
Well, there was a club that there was a literal library inside of it. So I forget what it was called, but it was with you, and we were with 2 other guy friends, and it was like one of the first times.
Supper Club.
Supper? Really?
I think so.
It was Supper Club. I'm thinking of something different then.
It was like that movie theater entrance. It was like a...
I do remember Supper Club. It was way bigger, but there's another one that there was an actual library in there. But I remember we went, and it was probably one of the first times I was hanging out with you, and it was before we all like really got to know one another. And I saw the club promoter because I'd been going out for a while, and I was like, please just let my boys in. Like, all of my girls are in there. Don't worry. And I remember we were really like, please, 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 because
it was me and Jack. Just us 2 and you. Where the hell were we? What were we doing? But he did let us in, and we weren't even on dress code or anything.
And I was so shocked, and I was just like, wow, that was really cool. But then we continued to build the relationship with the promoter, and
yes,
it all worked out. But I just remember thinking, whoa, for 2 to 1 ratio, it's like unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there was a lot of different clubs. I remember there was I think it was called Truesdale. Was that across from Boa Steakhouse?
Truesdale. We went there a lot.
Truesdale, and then Supper Club, and then there was Les Deux, and there was Guys and Dolls.
Guys and
There
Dolls.
was the club True.
True was big.
We went to a lot in True.
Yep.
True was back when was when I actually for the first time started booking, and there were parties there
Yep.
from like my publicist would give me because I was on 90210.
Yep.
And
I went to you with one, or I went with you to one at True. It was just the two of us.
yeah, and that's where we went with Cherie and Jeremy.
Yeah.
Remember, we got her so hammered. My cousin Cherie like drinks twice a year, if that. And we were at a table.
Yeah.
And we were drinking out of the bottle and had lightsabers.
Lightsabers,
and
we
just
brought
were
them home.
So messed up.
It was so fun, though. I feel like that was the last club we ever went to. I don't think we ever went to one after that.
No, we had Guys and Dolls. I do remember one other story that I don't know why we're telling all these like we were hammered stories, but hey, there was a time that because when you're young, you just don't understand. Like when you're an adult, you're like, okay, I can have 2 drinks if I have something to do tomorrow.
Right.
If I'm gonna, like you understand the pedigree of what you're drinking. When you're a kid, you can start off with whiskey, fireballs. You can do beer, and then you're drinking straight vodka, and it's like all this. So you just mix. And I remember being so hammered one night. We were all leaving the club, and I couldn't even stand.
Oh, no.
And it was at Guys and Dolls, and you tried to like help me.
And you pulled me down
And I was
with
falling,
you.
and I grabbed onto you, and we fell through one of the tables.
I was so mad and embarrassed.
And I think I woke
me.
up and I got up, and I was like, "What, babe, Alyssa?"
You did. I remember that. I was so mad.
And another thing that happened at Guys and Dolls. I don't know if this is bad, but we did it. When I pretended to be your gay best friend.
Oh yeah, we ran around to all the different tables.
So all these high rollers, so that we could get free drinks. I was like pretending to be your gay friend. So all these dudes who had money were buying you and your gay best friend drinks. So we were drinking for free.
Oh my gosh!
And this was all when we were friends, ladies and gentlemen.
These were the makings of a long relationship long term because we built such a fun foundation as friends.
But it was like all these charades and the I mean, I don't even know, like the stories continue. I mean, they're just the charades, but this was every day for all of 2010, 2011, and even during when I was working on days, I was still young enough that, and I remember talking to some of the vets who were on days, like without mentioning their names, because I don't know if they wanted to say that in public, but there are some people that back in their 20s would go out till 3 a.m. partying. And this is when they were making big money on days back in the day. And they would show up to work on 2-3 hours of sleep only. And it's like, I would do that. I remember I was still able to come home. I'd be like, I'm memorizing my lines. And then we'd all go out. Gosh. And you'd come home at 2 a.m, like drunk. And then you'd fall asleep, wake up to your alarm at 6. You'd shave, grab a cup of coffee, smoke a cigarette on the way to work, get to work, be like, hey guys. And we're just perky. And like now I'd have to go to the hospital. Like I need 8 sober hours of sleep if I was ever going to try to do any sort of acting. What is that?
I don't know. Age, baby.
But it is so crazy because I remember we'd be on the balcony going over my lines, and then I would wake up the next morning, like 4 hours of sleep, and I'd go to work, and just like I was great.
There was one night that you and I, right when we first got together, we were just having the best night ever, and we were up talking so late. I'm not kidding. We probably got like 2 hours of sleep, and we both went to work the next day, and I remember I was like tired and stuff, but I just couldn't, I could never do anything on 2 hours of sleep now, let alone go perform or work, or I could never.
That was when you lived at our place, we had the window open, we had vodka and a pack of cigarettes, and we sat in the bedroom and talked till 7 a.m. And I had a 10 o'clock call time, and we drank and smoked and talked. And that was when we first started dating.
So we were like really just in that like crazy obsessed mode.
Yes.
Where you would do that. And I remember texting you that day and be like, yeah, I'm a little tired today. But I mean, I'm not kidding. I could not do anything with 2 hours of sleep ever.
No.
Today. Like I could never.
No.
Not function, let alone go function in society.
Yeah.
Like it's insane what happens when you get a little bit older. I mean, we're not even that much older.
There are people that I've talked to at work too who go and they're older, and they were saying that we had these discussions where back in the day you could drink, like really drink, and still wake up at 4 hours, and then you get to an age where you can have some wine and you'll be fine. Then you get to like 30 and you can't have alcohol the day before work.
No.
You'll feel like shit.
Yeah.
And then this one actress on Days, yet again, I won't name people because I don't know if they want me saying anything like this, but she was like, I can't drink I have to have 48 hours before I can come to work, from like being puffy or from being low energy. So they would drink on a Friday, but then take Saturday, Sunday if they worked Monday. They needed 48 hours to get it to feel good. And I was like, I get that.
Makes sense.
And then you see some of the young kids who are just like, oh my God, I got to bed at 4 a.m. At 6 a.m. I'm just like, oh God, I remember that.
Enjoy it.
But yeah, I don't know what it is, but this is, and I think it's probably interesting for everyone who's listening. Maybe not. We're just like, I forgot we were podcasting, to be honest. But this is like the part of our life that I think really contributes to who we are today.
Yeah.
Because we were just, like I said, these Hollywood party kids, and we just so happen to maneuver our way into being around good people, breaking these bad party habits when we hit our mid-20s, and we're able to evolve and start working on ourselves and grow. But I think a lot of relationships, they kind of maybe don't have that, and that's where we got lucky. Like, we were just friends for 14 months, partying, just the stories, the debauchery, and just like hanging out by the pool and getting to know each other. We knew each other as people, like raw people, like no fake stuff. Like, we've seen each other at our worst, our best, drunk. You have those great conversations in Vegas, like these rides to Vegas. There was nothing like packing the car and going to Vegas. It's a 4-hour drive, and you're 22 years old. You got all these friends. You're smoking, and you get there, and you're getting drinks, and you're going out to clubs, and you're meeting people, and so we had that. And then you and I got together for this young love, but it was still in that hype kind of thing. Where you're still going to parties and like doing all this stuff. And then we kind of started around 2013 breaking away. 2014 we got into business. And that trumped. Like, wanting to make money and be successful started trumping the being out till 3 a.m.
Well,
and then we slowly went to, or I can't do this at all anymore. And then by 2015 or 16, we just never did it again. So for the past 5 years, it's a lot of what all of you listening and watching have seen of us. But we really started off like we met in college at a heightened level of just like the most insane Hollywood life. And I think that's why we're also grounded, where we don't feel like we're missing out. It's kind of like we had our fix and we don't feel like we're missing out.
Like, we did it.
Yeah.
Like that. I've got the
sometimes
t-shirt.
You'll see, like, if someone maybe, and this is just a generalization. I don't know people's relationships, but I'm just making a generalization that sometimes if you get married maybe too soon and you don't date other people, or you don't have those college years, and then people break up at like 28, and then they all of a sudden are like living that crazy time. Like, I think we lived such a crazy time for so many years that you don't crave it.
No.
You're just like, I got it out of my system. It was awesome. I'm happy to be here.
Well, and what's really interesting is we truly did, if you think about it, we essentially grew up together. You know, we met only a couple years out of high school. And when we had our friendship and we were getting to know each other, you saw me go through breakups. Like, we dated other people, you know, like there was a lot of stuff where we really built the foundation of best friends, even though I know there were always feelings there. Just the timing didn't align. But we knew each other on a different level because of that. So when we got together, there were no secrets. There was no like, oh, let's get to know like your relationship history. Like, we knew everything because we were freaking best friends. And I think that really helped us, you know, long term, because
there's no secrets. Like, because even too with your, you know, first relationship or with mine, like our real, or you had you had kind of two. I had like one long relationship, but we weren't surprised. Like, the shenanigans that would irritate couples when they started finding out, we were there.
Yeah.
I was on
Oh, yeah.
dates with you when you were with other people, or we were double dating, or there was like just like parties going on in your apartment. Like there
Yeah.
was no like we weren't surprised.
Right.
Like if you're like, oh, I dated this guy, and I'm like, I'm so jealous. I was like, oh, I was there that night. We all drove home. I was sitting next to you
Yep.
and him while you were making out, and we were passed out. And then like, so it's like we never had any like jealousy issues. We never had. We just knew everyone we dated,
Yeah.
other than our high school peeps.
Yeah. Which made it so much more unique too. And like you mentioned, we could have each gone in different ways because
Yeah.
we grew up together, but we both luckily went the same way together. We're like, ooh, let's build a future. Let's build a life. Let's grow up. Let's become better and more personally developed and go into business and figure out other ways to make money. And we just had the same ideals. And I'm always really grateful for that, because some people that might not have happened. We both could have just grown in different ways. And that happens a lot in relationships. You'll hear sometimes that they'll say, every 7 years that people continue to grow and change, maybe even every 5. And sometimes you got to continue to grow and fall in love with that new person, because people are going to always change. It's just part of life. It's part of evolving. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful we're both on the same page. And
Well, because one of us could have wanted to stick to the party phase.
Yeah.
Some people are still doing that.
yeah, I know.
And I mean, do you? But it's like, but it's crazy that you and I just wanted the same things at the same time.
know.
So, but I think I until we actually talked about this today, I don't think I ever realized though that going through that, because you really got to think about people who meet now on like Tinder and stuff. Like they're starting a relationship and they have to go through all of that, and I don't even know anymore. Like I don't even know if I was ever gonna date someone tomorrow. I don't even know what I would tell them. I'd be like, I honestly could. I cannot relive and explain that to you. You had to be there. You had to be there.
You should play this game with them in the relationship.
I want to go to Alaska. I was like, have you ever went on... Oh, I can't even get into some of this stuff.
Oh my gosh.
But you had to be there. And I think you and I... Like, how do you explain Twami's house with the vending machine?
You don't.
That's just like an aesthetic. The actual events that happened at that house,
They're
you had to
crazy.
be there. I don't even know how to explain them.
I mean, I even jumped off of that balcony, the roof, into the pool. Like, who was that?
Just party,
Who
man.
was that?
4th of July.
I was wild.
I remember our friend one time, he, in the middle of the party, took a shower. And he comes out in the party wrapped in a towel. And this girl was just like, oh my gosh. She's like, I barely recognized you with your clothes on. And he goes, most people don't.
What's really interesting, we had a really funny group of friends that we would hang out with, like that, the whole party group ever, because a lot of people were entertainers too.
Well, that's the unique part. Is that because don't you feel like you have that class clown in every group?
Yeah.
In Hollywood, the whole group is a class clown.
Everyone.
Every single person is a class clown. So just the endless stories of the debauchery, and but yeah, it was just a good time. But I think that's the best way to put it, is that you almost had to be there, and it'd be hard to truly explain what those 2 years really were unless you were there. And you and I happened to experience that together as part of the crew, because there was about 6 of us,
Yep.
and we were 2 of the 6.
Yeah.
Because no one else got together. I mean, people hooked up, but not like
Long term.
long term got together.
Yeah.
I mean, did anybody really? Out of that whole crew, maybe a couple,
Yep.
but most people were just kind of hooking up. But we were the ones that fell in love and stayed together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a crazy time. I'm trying to think if there's any other cool stories that we can share.
Well, the last thing on that I remember, which is so funny, because I think it's called Omegle. Well, we used to have something we would do 10 years ago called chat
roulette.
Yeah. It's the same exact premise, but we would go on, we'd have so much fun. We'd all get together as a group, and you just sit and talk to people but it's in these quick, like 2-minute intervals. And we would just have so much fun. And so now that I see it's come back and it's all over TikTok, I'm just like, it's just funny how things recycle and come back. It was literally, what was it, 11 years ago, almost at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Summer of
Holy
2010.
cow.
Isn't that weird?
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me the Dirty Disney party that we met at was February of 2010?
Yeah. So
next month is 11
years that we met. That is so trippy. That's weird, man. He was just a baby. He was like 1 year old. So he was there. We were both there. Isn't that bizarre? Bizarre.
That is so crazy.
11 years. That's a long time.
And it's almost like it was in a movie. Like remember Stephanie and Laura lived across the street or across the hall? And then Gray and Jack lived next to us.
That was the unique thing of the group.
That was so crazy.
Everyone lived right next to each other. We were all neighbors. It's wild. And it made it so much fun, too, because you almost had that, I suppose, college feel of, we live next to our dorm mates or whatever it is.
As soon as people started getting into serious relationships and then you had to get your life together, it all kind of just crumbled.
But that's how anything is.
Yeah.
You grow up.
Because everyone was single. Everybody had no real job. Because even for me, when I met you in February, I remember all of you were going out and I was like, oh my God, they're living the coolest life. And I was working at Outback. And then I booked those 2 commercials. It was JCPenney and it was PetSmart.
Wow.
And I remember I was like, I'm out because I wanted to I was like, I can't keep coming to work, and I had enough money, but I quit in April.
Wow.
And so once April hit, I was a free man. All I did was audition, and then we just all hung out and partied.
It was a unique time in our life, that's for sure. I'm really glad we got to experience it. It was so much fun.
Especially now that it was a moment in time we didn't realize either because of social. That these days it's like there's cameras everywhere, and
a lot of growth.
you were just like friends.
Yeah.
You just got at people's houses and people just were like, what do you want to do? And you'd play beer pong and people would talk and you'd make your rounds.
Yep.
And then you'd leave, and it's just what we did. We had to keep ourselves busy. We couldn't just nowadays you still get enough stimulation that you could come home, leave the party early, get on your phone and be just as stimulated instead of going from Fatty to Miles to Jack to Gray to Jason to Tyler, and you hop around and you chat with people, and that's what you're doing now on TikTok at home. And Casey Neistat did a great thing on that. He goes, because of social media, you're feeling that fulfillment. You don't even need to leave anymore because you're being stimulated, where before you were like, let's just get together. Remember we would just all get together and going to Panera was the funnest thing ever. Yeah. The most fun.
The most fun, yeah.
But yeah, that was such a good time.
It was. It was a great time though to grow and learn and just be a kid. A young adult, really. I know we kind of got off topic, but to kind of wrap up, maybe we could do a quick this or that speed round.
Oh, okay.
You want to do that real quick?
Sure.
Kind of end it on a Q&A note.
I'm glad that these questions, though, brought us into a couple good stories, because if we just answered questions
that's boring.
Yeah, so I'm glad
no one likes
that it branched out into something cool.
Speed round. What are you laughing at?
My mom just texted me and said my aunt just received the wedding invitation today.
What? Wow.
1 month later.
Wow. Hey, at least you got it.
A month later. That's crazy. Damn.
Dang.
Okay.
All right. So this or that. Sleep in or rise early?
Sleep in.
Sleep in. I agree. We're more night owls.
Yeah.
I do like to get up early, but I love some sleep. All right. Read a book or watch TV?
Watch TV.
I think I do love to watch TV, but I love reading so much. So I think I'm going to do read a book.
Okay,
Kiss.
so tonight.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to check on you.
Please do.
And I'm going to see you reading a book from 10 to midnight. You're going to read a book?
Great. I will.
I'm not going to do any Bridgerton?
Bridgerton is done, but it was so good.
Okay.
But really quick, Bridgerton, it's a 8-novel series, and I actually do want to read those. So I actually purchased it on my phone, so you might see me reading on my phone.
I'll be watching Ray Donovan.
All right. Ocean or lake?
Ocean.
I'd have to say ocean too, for sure. Remember that?
Close,
Yeah.
but ocean.
We went to Lake Arrowhead once, and I remember going, this is so lovely and amazing, but I was like, I think I prefer oceans more. Just
Oceans.
different vibe. Strength workout or cardio?
Kind of both. Like, depends on the day.
Yeah. I know strength workouts are really good, but I there's nothing I love more than cardio. I love going on a nice run, just putting my music, my headphones on, just going. You feel so free, you got that runner's high. I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it all depends on the day. Sometimes I like just listening to music, taking my time and lifting weights. And then there's times that I like just like walking fast paced because I don't run because I have sciatica issues.
Oh, we're going to get that fixed.
I know, I got to find a chiropractor or someone.
All right, last question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Winter or summer?
Summer. Summer all year round.
Yes.
That's why I moved to Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, winter I have no desire for coldness.
I never have. Some people love it.
Yeah, I mean, I like it in spurts.
I think seeing the seasons is, of course, amazing. Like fall is really cool because it's not too cold yet, and seeing all the leaves change, and it's just so pretty. But I don't think I could live in a cold climate. I mean, I could, but I probably wouldn't pick it. But I've never lived in a cold climate, so.
I don't remember any of the fun times. The only thing I remember fun about the cold climate was hooking a sled up to the back of the four-wheeler and dragging your friends around.
Yeah.
In the back of like a sled with a rope, and then you drive the four-wheeler.
Ooh.
But most of the time it was just wet pant legs. It was cold cars. It was having to scrape the ice off your car. It was having to run in to buildings, taking off your wet stuff, not stepping in, you're getting your socks wet. Like there was way more negatives to me than the only fun I remember is, like riding a four-wheeler and hooking a sled to the back of it.
Oh my gosh. I saw snow for the first time, I think when I was 20 or 21. And it was right before I met you, and I went skiing the first time I saw snow, and I was like, oh, this is cool, it's fun. But then I kind of got over it, and I remember I was waiting, and I sat in the snow. I didn't realize that that's just probably something you don't do, and I sat in the snow, and I got completely soaked when I left because I was sitting in this huge thing of snow, but you can't do that.
No.
This little Florida
the
girl
worst
didn't
thing
know.
is getting snow in your neck, like down your coat,
Eesh.
or having wet feet is the worst.
The worst.
And your jeans, it's weird that you don't see memes or anything about that. Maybe back in the day we had longer jeans. Remember your jeans used to sag and you'd walk on them?
Yeah.
So jeans are actually much higher these days. But back when I was a 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, our jeans would hang on the ground.
Those Jinko jeans?
Yeah.
I'd
And
love
they would
to
all
see it.
fray because the salt and the snow would eat them, and you would have these wet, nasty jeans that were all in the snow. Because you still wanted to look cool.
Well, yeah.
Where now I would just wear big-ass boots, tuck my sweatpants in those boots, and go and be comfortable. But back in the day, you still wanted to look fresh.
So if you're wearing your Jinko jeans, would you be wearing boots with those?
No, just tennis shoes. So they'd be
shoes.
soaking wet.
Ah, it sounds awful.
It's terrible.
Awful.
Yeah, there's really no, snow blowing the driveway, shoveling. There was just nothing good about it.
Well, hey.
Pulling your e-brake. Pulling your e-brake in your car. You drive in the snow and ice. You pull your e-brake, and you can drift. I even remember you could, on a 2-lane street, if you knew how to do it well, and we did it all the time. So we lived in Ashtabula, and there's like open space. You could drive, pull your e-brake, and your car would skid and turn, and then you could drive down the other way.
Oh my gosh.
There was this one time I was going to baseball practice, and I was coming off of, we lived in this allotment, and you come down Diane Drive, and I made a right on 84 and a left on Blake Road. And when I made the left on Blake Road, I decided to gun it and pull my e-brake, and I slid, but I caught a patch of ice, so I was sliding down the hill and then fell into this ditch.
What?
And the coach in the team, I like ended up like having to call a buddy.
Oh my God.
And the coach went and got his Jeep, and we hooked up our like rope and hooks, and he hooked into it and pulled me out. And but yeah, we used to pull the e-brake all the time. You just like drive around, just pull your e-brake, and you'd like drift.
Well, while you were doing that, I was going to the movie theater.
Oh, we were sliding
In the
around.
mall.
It's so fun. We can do that. Next time we go to a snowy climate, I'll take you out and you'll do e-brake.
I'll pass.
But I wonder what e-brakes are. Like, where's our e-brake in our car? Things, it's all buttons now. They were like, everyone knows, like an old car used to have a
I know
handle,
exactly what you're
and
talking about. Yeah.
And it would just, you could, when you got good at it, you could really move around. It's something we did for fun.
I'll respectfully decline that invitation, but
Pulling the e-brake.
well, thank you for this game of Q&A and this or that.
Yeah, it was fun. It led to some really cool conversations, and thank you all for listening. I was just like, it's like really late, and we're just like hanging out, and I felt like it's almost like a night shift type vibe.
And I think that's why the energy is different, because it's just later. We've never done it this late. I feel the latest we've done it probably was like 4 p.m. because of lighting purposes.
Yeah, so we're like chilling. Yeah, you're gonna see us on Wednesday. We were chilling Tuesday night, just like hanging out and
hanging out, baby.
So I'm glad you came along for the ride, and I'm gonna have to edit it up and see what we're gonna have from it, because I want to, keep our questions, because we kind of didn't do the Q&A.
I know.
So I'll see how I edit it, but I think people will understand.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna cut out the. We'll see. We'll keep it. We'll keep it going. We have a lot of footage.
We'll see. Well, good chat, baby.
Yeah, good chat. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
All right,
Have a great week.
Take care, everyone.